ganglia, and thalamus. The extrapyramidal system can either promote or inhibit movement. Let's take a closer look at the key extrapyramidal structures involved in Parkinson's disease. The basal ganglia are two or striatum. The substantia nigra is a tiny structure located deep within the brain. There are actually two structures, levels of the neurotransmitter dopamine, produced by cells in the darkly pigmented. Because this motor pathway involves the substantia nigra and the striatum, it is known as the nigrostriatal pathway. The synthesis of dopamine begins with the amino acid tyrosine. Within the neurons of the substantia nigra, tyrosine is converted into levodopa through the action of the enzyme tyrosine hydroxylase. Levodopa is converted into dopamine through the action of the enzyme dopa decarboxylase. When signaled by an impulse traveling down the axon to the synapse, dopamine is released into the synaptic cleft. Some of the released dopamine binds to dopamine receptors on the receiving neuron, triggering a signal that is relayed through neurons to the motor center in the cerebral cortex of the brain. This signal eventually travels through the spinal cord to modify activity in muscle cells. Uptake. It may also be converted into other substance cells in the substantia nigra. The dopamine supply to the striatum is gradually reduced. This disrupts the balance between dopamine and acetylcholine, resulting in a relative excess of acetylcholine. When 60% to 80% of dopamine-producing cells in the substantia nigra are damaged, the extrapyramidal system loses the ability to effectively promote movement, and the motor symptoms